Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive today. We're going to be exploring some really unconventional ideas about prayer and manifestation,
Oh, yeah.
presented by Billy Carson
Okay.
of Forbidden Knowledge.
Wow.
Now, I'm really interested to hear what you think about this guy because I've listened to some of his stuff,
Okay.
and it's out there.
All right.
We're working with a spoken presentation this time.
Okay.
So we'll be focusing on his core arguments and how he expresses them.
Cool. I'm ready.
All right, are you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So what I found really fascinating about Carson's approach is that he kind of just like right off the bat, he challenges the traditional idea of prayer.
Right.
He doesn't just like offer like a slight modification or anything.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you guys got it all wrong. This is how you're supposed to be doing it.
It's a total reimagining.
Yeah, a complete reimagining of how we connect with what we desire and how we engage with the universe to get it.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so intriguing about him is that he's not afraid to just completely upend
Yes.
conventional thinking.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't hold back at all. He's just like straight out traditional prayer just doesn't work.
Wow.
I mean, how many people have you heard say that?
Not many people are willing to go that far.
Right. And he compares it to begging, which he argues is a low-frequency energy that's basically ineffective.
It's like he's saying it's almost an insult to the universe to
Right.
come at it from that angle
Yes.
of just like pleading and begging for what you want.
Yeah. And instead, he proposes we should be commanding what we want into existence. I mean, come on.
That's a powerful word.
What a statement,
It is.
right? It makes you wonder if maybe we've been approaching this whole thing wrong all along.
It does. You know, it really does make you question everything you thought you knew about prayer.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it is a bold statement.
It is.
And it raises some pretty big questions about,
Mm.
the power of belief and, our own internal dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Carson is basically saying we need to ditch this whole mindset of lack and pleading and step into this, position of self-efficacy and empowerment. Like we have the power within us to make things happen.
Right. And he believes we each have this divine spark within us.
Mm.
And that's what we need to tap into.
The divine spark. I like that.
Yeah.
It's like a source of unlimited potential.
Right. And, he uses this really striking example.
Oh, yeah.
He contrasts someone who's, desperately praying for a house. Please, God, let me have a house.
Right.
With someone who is commanding it,
Yeah. Yeah.
already picturing themselves in a massive 10,000 square foot mansion.
Like they already own it.
They already own it.
Yeah.
Living the life. You know what I mean?
It's a complete 180 in terms of mindset.
It really highlights that difference in mindset.
Absolutely. Like you're either coming from a place of lack or a place of abundance.
Abundance.
And that's what determines your results.
Okay, so this is where things start to get a little more complex.
Oh, here we go.
Because Carson, he tried to ground his argument in science by linking manifestation to the concept of quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement. All right, now we're talking.
Which is super cool.
It is cool, but it's also where things can get a little slippery.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to talk about quantum entanglement in the realm of physics, but applying it to human consciousness and manifestation, that's a whole other leap.
He suggests that our brains can actually entangle with universal consciousness to make things happen.
Okay, so he's saying our thoughts can literally influence reality on a quantum level.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bold claim.
Okay, I'll admit, this is where I started to get a little skeptical.
I hear you.
Because while quantum entanglement is a real thing,
It's a real phenomenon. Yeah.
it's a fascinating phenomenon.
Definitely.
I'm not quite sure about applying it to human consciousness in this way.
Yeah, I mean, the science is still out on that one.
Right, and this is where, Carson's presentation really requires, I think, a more critical lens.
A healthy dose of skepticism.
Yes, because he doesn't really dive into, the really nitty-gritty scientific specifics.
Right, he kind of glosses over those details.
Yes, and it's important for listeners to remember that his interpretation of quantum physics isn't, universally accepted.
Yeah, it's not exactly mainstream science.
Right, within the scientific community.
Not yet, anyway.
Right. So we have this interesting blend of self-empowerment with a dash of woo-woo.
A little bit of magic mixed in with the science.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a combination that definitely grabs your attention. But it's important to approach these ideas with a healthy dose of discernment, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm all for exploring new ideas and pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible.
Of course.
But we also need to be grounded in critical thinking and be able to separate the speculation from the scientifically sound.
100%.
No.
Now, another interesting concept that Carson introduces is this inner transformation.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
That happens when the voice we hear during prayer kind of shifts from an external deity to our own inner voice.
Okay, so he's talking about a shift in perception
Yeah.
from feeling like we're talking to some outside force to recognizing the power within ourselves.
Yes. And he sees this as like a powerful realization that you are God and God is you.
Wow, that's a pretty loaded statement.
Right. It's a big one. It reminds me of those spiritual traditions that emphasize like self-realization or connecting with a higher self.
Yeah, like Buddhism or Hinduism,
Right.
where the goal is to realize your own inherent divinity.
But what's Carson's unique take on this idea?
Well, he doesn't just frame it as a spiritual awakening, he actually connects it back to the effectiveness of our prayers or manifestations.
So it's not just about like recognizing our inner God or whatever. It's about like harnessing that power.
Exactly. He's saying this shift in voice signifies a deeper level of self-awareness
Self-awareness.
and connection to our own power.
To bring about what we desire in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like once you realize you are the source of your own reality,
Yeah.
that's when you can really start to manifest your desires.
I'm starting to see how all this ties together.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all about tapping into that inner power and aligning it with your desires.
And to kind of further, make his case,
Yeah.
he emphasizes the importance of technique.
Technique. Okay, so it's not just about having good intentions.
It's not enough.
There's more to it.
He says good intentions alone aren't enough.
Right. You need to have a strategy,
You need a strategy.
a plan of action.
We need to combine our desires with effective strategies.
Right.
Or we'll fall short even if we have the best intentions.
It's like that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes, exactly. And he actually uses a really great analogy.
Oh, I love a good analogy. What is it?
He talks about someone failing a real estate exam despite studying diligently.
Oof. I can relate to that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've all been there.
You can study and study and study.
But if you don't apply the knowledge in the right way,
Right.
you're not going to pass.
And it's the same thing with manifestation.
So he's saying there's a practical side to all of this.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not just wishing and hoping.
It requires understanding and implementing the right techniques.
And that's where I think we see him really tapping into the listener's desire for like actionable knowledge.
Yeah, people want to know how to actually make this stuff work.
Exactly. He's offering not just a philosophy, but a set of tools that they can use.
Okay, so he's giving us the what and the how.
It's like he's saying, here's how to actually apply these concepts to your life
Yeah,
and see some tangible results.
I like that. Practical advice.
Yes, and to further kind of solidify his claims, he shares some pretty interesting personal anecdotes.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about these.
Right.
You mentioned some pretty wild stories earlier.
Yes. He talks about maintaining like a surprisingly low heart rate during a life insurance exam.
Wow, that's impressive.
Right. And staying incredibly calm during stressful situations.
So he's saying he can control his physiological responses.
Yes. And he attributes these abilities to his mastery over his own energy and physiology.
It's like he's a real-life Jedi master.
Right. And he's basically saying, look, because of my approach to manifestation, I'm able to do these things.
Okay, so he's walking the walk,
Right.
not just talking the talk.
And those are some pretty bold claims.
They are, but they're also super intriguing.
Right. I'm definitely curious to hear how he connects those experiences to his overall approach to prayer and manifestation.
Me too. Does he actually explain how he achieved these feats?
He does. And that's what makes it so interesting.
I'm hooked.
But we'll dive into those details and really unpack all those techniques that he reveals
Right, you're going to make me wait.
in the next part of our deep dive.
Ugh, fine. But I'm going to be counting down the minutes.
So for now, what do you think is the most thought-provoking aspect of what we've covered so far?
That's a tough one. There's so much to unpack here. But I think for me, what really stands out is this idea that traditional prayer might not be the most effective way.
It's a huge claim.
It is. And it really challenges us to consider alternative approaches.
Alternative approaches.
Yeah, and to really question our assumptions about how this whole process works.
What about you? What stands out to you?
What stands out to me is this whole idea of, how he blends self-empowerment with these sort of mystical elements.
Yeah, it's a compelling mix,
It is.
but it also requires us to stay grounded in, critical thinking, as we've said.
Absolutely. All right, so
Okay.
let's dig into those personal anecdotes.
Yes.
You mentioned acing a life insurance exam with a crazy low heart rate.
Right.
staying calm in these high-stress situations.
Yeah, what's his secret? What's the secret sauce here?
Right. Well, he's saying these abilities all stem from this, like, command over his energy and physiology.
It's almost like...
Which is a direct result of his approach to manifestation.
So by mastering his inner world, he gains control over these outer circumstances.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
It is.
But does he give any concrete examples of how he actually, does that?
He does. He does. He talks about, techniques like visualization and affirmations, which we've all heard of before.
Right.
But he takes it a step further.
Okay.
He emphasizes aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and even your physical actions with your desired outcome. It's almost like embodying the reality you want to create.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts, it's about living in alignment with those thoughts.
Exactly.
Almost like acting as if it's already happening.
Exactly. And he connects this to another key principle that he keeps coming back to, which is as above, so below.
As above, so below.
Right.
Now that's an interesting one.
It is.
How does he apply this to, this whole idea of prayer and manifestation?
Well, he uses it to explain why this inner transformation is so crucial for outer change.
So as above, so below, meaning like if the universe is a reflection of ourselves,
right,
then by mastering that inner world,
exactly,
our thoughts, our beliefs,
your thoughts, beliefs, emotions,
we're essentially influencing that, cosmic blueprint to manifest those desires.
Precisely. It's like changing the blueprint to alter the building.
Oh, that's a really good analogy. So by aligning our inner world with our desires, we're essentially influencing the, the cosmic blueprint to manifest those desires in the physical world.
Yes.
Wow. I love that.
It's powerful stuff.
It is. And he uses some interesting analogies to illustrate this.
Like what?
He compares the structure of a tree to the human lung.
Okay. Interesting.
Right. So it's about seeing those patterns, those reflections between different levels of existence.
I see. So it's all about recognizing this interconnectedness of everything.
Interconnectedness, yes. And I also see how this principle could be easily misinterpreted or oversimplified.
Oh, absolutely. And that's where critical thinking is so important.
Yes.
It's tempting to draw these neat connections between things.
Right.
But we have to be careful.
Of course.
About assuming causation.
Yes.
Just because we see a correlation.
100%.
Yes.
So it's about finding that balance between wonder and skepticism.
Yes.
Right. Being open to these ideas, but not accepting them blindly.
Exactly. Now, amidst all this talk of quantum physics and ancient wisdom, Carson briefly touches upon Hermes Trismegistus.
Hermes Trismegistus.
And the flower of life.
Oh,
it's like he's dropping these little breadcrumbs, leading us towards even deeper esoteric knowledge.
I know. It's like he's opening a door to this whole other world of, exploration.
Right.
So could you give us a quick rundown of who Hermes Trismegistus is and the significance of the flower of life?
Hermes Trismegistus is a legendary figure, often associated with alchemy and mystical teachings.
Alchemy, interesting.
Yeah, he's considered a source of ancient wisdom, said to have revealed profound truths about the universe and humanity's place within it.
So like a figure shrouded in mystery and ancient wisdom.
Exactly.
What about the flower of life?
The flower of life is a complex symbol.
Found in various spiritual traditions around the world. And it's often seen as a representation of creation. Interconnectedness, and these fundamental patterns of reality.
Fundamental patterns of reality.
Some believe it holds profound mathematical and spiritual significance.
Okay, so we're talking about sacred geometry here.
We are.
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
It is a deep rabbit hole.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack.
I know, right?
In a short amount of time.
It is a lot.
I'm definitely sensing a rabbit hole here.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone who wants to dive deeper into these concepts.
Absolutely.
But let's bring it back to Carson's core message.
Okay.
If we had to distill his main points, what would you say are the key takeaways?
Okay, so I'd say his core message is about empowerment.
Empowerment.
About recognizing our inherent potential to shape our reality.
Okay.
He's urging us to ditch this outdated model of begging for what we want.
Yes.
And instead step into a position of command.
Of aligning our inner and outer world.
Inner and outer world, yeah.
To manifest our desire.
To manifest our desires, I see.
It's about taking control of your own destiny.
And to do that effectively, he's really stressing the importance of understanding and utilizing the right techniques.
The right techniques, yes.
It's not enough to just wish for things we need to learn how to direct our energy and intention in a focused and purposeful way.
Yes, he's almost like a coach.
He is like a coach.
Giving us a pep talk and the playbook for manifesting success.
That's a really good analogy. He's like a manifestation coach.
He is.
And while his personal anecdotes might seem kind of fantastical at times,
sure,
they do serve a purpose.
What's that?
They're meant to inspire and demonstrate that his methods, as unconventional as they may seem, can produce some tangible results.
Yeah, he's like, look, I'm living proof that this stuff works.
Exactly.
If I can master my heart rate and stay calm under pressure, you can achieve amazing things too.
It's a bold claim, but it definitely sparks curiosity.
Yep. It does. It really makes you wonder if maybe he's on to something.
Right. So how does all of this relate to our listeners?
Well,
what can they take away from this, even if they're not fully convinced by Carson's approach?
I think there are some valuable nuggets here for everyone.
Okay.
Firstly, the importance of self-belief.
Self-belief.
And owning your desires.
Owning your desires.
Even if you don't buy into this whole idea of commanding the universe,
right,
having a strong belief in your ability to achieve your goals is incredibly powerful.
It is.
Yeah.
And secondly, the connection between intention, technique, and manifestation.
Intention, technique, manifestation. It's all connected.
It is. Whether you're aiming for spiritual growth or material success, having those clear intentions and effective strategies is crucial for making progress.
Couldn't agree more. And finally, this idea of tapping into a higher self or an inner God.
Yes.
This doesn't have to be a mystical concept.
Right.
It can simply mean becoming more aware of your inner guidance system, your intuition, and the wisdom that resides within you.
So it's about recognizing and harnessing the power that lies within each of us.
Exactly.
So even if we take Carson's more, out there claims with a grain of salt, there's still a lot to be learned from his unique perspective.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that there are many paths to personal growth and fulfillment.
So many paths.
And exploring different approaches can lead to valuable insights and self-discovery.
So have we sufficiently unpacked,
I think so,
Carson's core ideas?
I think we've covered the main points.
Or is there anything else we should highlight before moving on to the final part of our deep dive? I think we've done a pretty thorough job, of unpacking his main ideas and arguments.
I think so.
We explored, his kind of critique of traditional prayer, his emphasis on, self-empowerment and those really intriguing techniques he uses to manifest his desires.
Right.
But what really sticks with me is that central claim.
What's that?
That traditional prayer just doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, it's a bold statement to make.
It is.
That challenges a really deeply ingrained practice for so many people.
Absolutely. It really raises the question, Does your own experience align with Carson's view?
Yeah.
I mean, have you found traditional prayer to be effective in your life?
It's a good question.
Or does his approach of commanding your desires resonate more?
It's a really personal question, and I think it's one worth reflecting on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes beyond simply agreeing or disagreeing with Carson.
Right.
It's about examining our own beliefs and experiences and seeing what rings true for us.
Exactly. There's no right or wrong answer here. It's about personal exploration and finding what works best for you on your own journey.
And I love how this whole, deep dive has encouraged us to think outside the box.
Me too.
Consider these alternative approaches and challenge our assumptions about how prayer and manifestation actually work.
It's been eye-opening.
It's not about blindly accepting everything Carson says.
Right.
But rather using his ideas as like a springboard for deeper reflection and self-discovery.
I agree. It's about expanding our understanding and exploring new possibilities.
Exactly. And even if you don't fully embrace Carson's methods, his emphasis on self-belief and taking responsibility for shaping your own reality, it's a powerful message that I think resonates across different belief systems.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing and harnessing that power within each of us.
Yes. So if this deep dive has sparked your curiosity, I encourage you to keep exploring.
Yeah.
There's wealth of information out there on these topics.
So much to learn.
From ancient wisdom traditions to modern scientific perspectives on consciousness and the nature of reality.
It's a fascinating journey of discovery.
It is. And I hope this deep dive has provided you with some valuable insights and perhaps even a few aha moments along the way.
Some food for thought.
Yeah. And remember, the most important takeaway is to keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
Keep exploring and keep diving deeper into the mysteries of the universe and your own potential.
Well said. Until next time, keep those minds engaged and those questions flowing.
Absolutely.